is Todd Basil.
This is Bjorn RG.
Welcome.
Is it possible? Is it possible to improve on perfection? Man's dead.
Welcome to the Dueling Beardos Comedy Podcast.
You were talking about you were talking about perceived world, and the way I interpreted that for you is you look at this studio and you think of all the stuff that's been said here and discussed, like that's a world you created.
Right.
And when I think about my stand-up and the videos I make, there's voices or recurring characters that I have brought back or fictitious places that I've made up. I feel like you and I are both we're playing Sim City, but for comedy. So we're creating a world, and like in your world, there's a joke existing of how much denim you're going to wear, right? That's a joke you said, and I think you've come back to it, but that's a thing you can pull from whenever you want. That's part of your world. You created that thing. And I feel like building the world is something that is going to come if we're successfully finding our voice as performers.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. That's why I was like, I want to get that recorded.
Yeah.
So this is cool. This is an experiment. We'll see. We might keep doing this. We might not. We'll just have fun with it. You know, we were meeting up every week.
Yeah.
And we were having these cool conversations. And I was like, we're kind of having those conversations pretty close to my podcast studio. We might as well record them. So I guess that's what we're doing with this. And we like the Dueling Beardos.
Yeah, Dueling Beardos podcast. We're back, baby.
Yeah, we're back.
Plus,
no longer an open mic.
That's right. There's
this
no
is a closed
sign-ups.
mic.
Yeah, closed.
I'm Bjorn RG.
I'm Todd Basil.
And we are the Dueling Beardos.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like the let's just talk about it. You know, the intro music's definitely going to be something with the banjo. Like,
oh yeah,
I want bluegrass. Like,
oh yeah,
full on bluegrass music for
totally.
our theme song.
I want someone's finger to bleed because they don't have the slide guitar thimble. They just had to use their nail, but they went for it.
I like it. I'll find something. And then, of course, this is like in the future, there will be bumper music on top of this. But hey, so I wanted to, for this first episode, something we were talking about a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
It definitely happened to me today, and I had to look back at my notes on this. And we're going to give one shout out to a friend of mine in the middle of this too. But we were talking about what are the things, so like nerves. Something I want to say about nerves and stand-up and performing that I feel like I read it somewhere, but I didn't know it until now, that it never really goes away. I still get nervous. It doesn't matter how big or small the show is. Like, there are some nerves.
Yeah.
Actually, the shows that I am not nervous tend to go really bad.
Oh.
So
yeah.
like I realized I needed it. That's the first thought, is I kind of need the nerves for it to be a good show. And then the second thought is just that it doesn't go away, you know? So it's just about finding ways of dealing with it, I guess, is what the...
Yeah. Yeah, both of us came up, you said, hey, I have some ways of dealing with nerves. I'll list them. And and they came through text. And then I love that prompt, and I responded with some, and I think we both liked
I'm just gonna go back in our text thread and find it, and I'll read off.
Yeah.
And then
we'll see how well autocorrected or how badly it did for me.
Well, let's see. Oh man, we talk a lot. That's probably wasn't the best approach. I think I did write them down. And here we go. Here's my top 5. So let's see, what was the prompt? The prompt was what are the top 5 values. Oh wait, no, that's not that. I went too far back, dude.
Oh, that was a previous.
Top 5 values of open mic. We'll do that in
Oh,
another.
that was a great prompt too.
Should we do that one?
No, go. I'm really intrigued to revisit the one you already set up.
I just hit record because you said something really great and I didn't really prepare. And it's bad that I admitted that now on this. I had the note here. Okay. Doing a set when you don't feel like it.
Oh,
that
yeah.
was the prompt. I knew
nice.
it was like a cool, interesting questioner. So I said, I'd love to hear your suggestions for doing a set when you don't feel like it.
Yeah.
Because a few weeks ago, I just wasn't in the mood. But that is the most important time, I think, to do it.
Oh yeah. If you have a protocol for handling that situation, then the times you're semi into it or totally into it, there's no work to be done and you're just going to fly. But so yeah, that's like the worst case. It's like the error in calculations. Like what's the worst case scenario and what do you do about it? So this is a worst case scenario when you just are having a day, don't feel like doing it.
Yeah. Let's see. Here, where are my? I guess mine aren't in here. Yours.
Oh.
Or maybe they are.
No, they're after. I think they're after mine.
Are they?
Because you set it up and said I'll give you 5, but I don't know if you sent them right away.
Let's see. Maybe I didn't. This is great. Okay. I have them written in a notebook post, and that's what I should have done in the first place, and that's what I'm doing now. Because I did find yours, but I did want to find the prompt on it. Man, I really, really wish that I had. Okay.
What day is it under?
Here's mine. I found my
great.
list. Okay, so these are my I didn't number them. Let's see, I'll switch it to numbers. Number 1, take a cold shower. That's something I did because I was just not in the mood, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So cold shower really got me out of my head. You know? It's like a shock to the system.
Yeah, changing the sensation of your body gets you out of your head. I found that to be true. Yeah, that's a great one. Cold shower.
Also, another weird thing is proving that you can do something you don't want to do.
Oh, so you
It's
take
like
it as a challenge?
Yeah, it's like because I didn't really want to do it. I remember just being like, and I just got in and I was just like, It's like jumping into the deep end. It's like when you don't. It's like you're instead of wading into the pool, you're jumping into the pool.
So you're modeling the going on stage when you don't want to by jumping into a cold shower even though you don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, cool.
So it's almost like proving that you can do something difficult.
Yeah.
In a really microcosm of a situation.
Yes. Wow.
So then the next one I had was listen to music and like stuff that gets me singing. Anything that gets me singing. Like
nice.
So like I keep a karaoke list on my playlist on my Spotify. And so like I just like go through and it's just like, okay, I'll just like sing these songs, you know, and it's just like, okay, Bad Romance, like some you know, I don't know, like just songs that are just fun. And because you can't be like, I mean, I guess you could listen to some sad music and get sad, but like it's hard to like be singing and not happy.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, or at least emoting. But I think, shying away from a sad toned song is a good idea.
Yeah, maybe not like a sad tone song.
That that part where she's like, I don't want to be friends. That's I would belt that right before getting on stage. Yeah, that's like, a good moment.
like you can't not smile when you like. I don't know. It's tough. Like fun songs. Meditation. Even just close your eyes, breathe. For me, there's like meditation, but also standing up is important and like not sitting. Sometimes I have my energy drops when I sit. Yeah,
I found that to be true for me too. If I know I'm next and I'm sitting, I'm like, this is not going to go well. You know, I want to be standing.
I guess go for a walk is the other one.
Yeah.
Me. I guess now this is number 4. Get off my phone. No phone. Just at all for a little while. Like really, really, truly be off my phone.
Yeah.
and I just feel like that there's like a certain type of thinking that can happen, and it just, I don't know. It's like I'm eating too much. It's a similar feeling to like when you eat too much candy or something, or you're just fully indulging.
Yeah, or ate too much bar food, which I did last night. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
The thing, I feel like everyone is distracted now because they're all living real life. Whoever's in front of you, you're interfacing with, but also your mind is still cranking on whatever online life you're living. So you're like, oh, how'd my post do? Or I have a habit of scrolling. I need to scroll again. And that's totally distracting to just being in the moment and connecting with the room and audience.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's, for me too, it's just like, sometimes if I just like, I guess that's similar to the meditation. It's kind of in one. That will be like my number 3, and then number 4 will be go for a walk. But
Yeah.
my number 3 of meditating, but also just disconnecting from that and thinking about nothing. Like for a minute.
Yeah.
Like have no just nothing. And it's amazing what thoughts and cool things can kind of come up for me, at least. In those moments, like if I'm struggling with like a joke or something, sometimes I'll just be like, all right, find a solution, or like think about this joke, and then just like close my eyes and think about it with no distraction.
Yeah.
And just sit and just trust that my subconscious will come up with something.
Yeah. Oh, and you made me think of that. Self-talk's important. So you're starting at ground zero by eliminating all other existing thoughts and starting from no momentum, no thought, clear-headedness. And I like that, because sometimes I'll think, oh, I really want to, like, I've been experimenting with just talking about something that tickles me or that I'm really excited about, rather than, oh, I reworded this joke, I'm going to try this out, or this is a good structure for a set and I should do this. Sometimes I get self-conscious thinking about, well, what are the consequences of me doing this? Like, what if it doesn't go well? What if I need to bail on it? What if I bail too early on it? And I want to, that's existing like thoughts that I feel like are not helping me. I don't want to think about consequences. I'd rather just think about, like what part of me is going to be shown if I do go up and just talk about something that tickles me or that I'm really excited about. A good part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and not worry about future Todd.
Yeah.
And like what, or worst case scenarios. Like,
yeah,
it's just like, just deal with I think that's just presence, and that's important for that. But
yeah.
All right. I have one more, and then we'll do your top 5. My number 5 is no talking or telling anyone how I'm feeling until after the show. Keep it to yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Completely keep my fears and doubts and just keep them completely to myself.
Yeah.
And not share them, because there's two things. Because when you share it, you maybe like drop into that, because you're literally saying those things like, I'm feeling nervous, by telling someone. And then what's the response? It could be like, oh, I'm so sorry.
Right. Like empathizing or problem solving, both are keeping the focus on that negative when you want to move past it.
And you want to not be nervous.
Right.
But it's almost like a admission of guilt or something,
Yeah.
And I found that because I was just experiencing like an extreme amount of this, really feeling like not wanting to do it. And that's why I reached out to you, and I reached out to Jocelyn as well.
Awesome.
And I'm going to tell you what hers was.
Oh, she's got some?
She got one.
Cool.
And I have to, and I'm very excited to share it with you, because I don't know if I did. But let's hear your top 5. What were your top 5?
Okay, let me see if...
Oh, I had it. I had yours up.
Does it start with...
I didn't write them down. I really, really...
All right, well, I have 4, I think. Okay, so...
4? Okay.
Yeah,
top 4.
First one is... I thought I had a 5th one. Oh, I do... I thought there was
your first one was just
supposed to be fun.
It's supposed to be fun.
Yeah. When did I write that though?
No, that was the first response I think that you said. But yeah. So what do you mean by that?
Well, like, why are we doing this? we're doing it because we find it really fun and fulfilling,
Right.
and it has captured us. So that, I mean, that's just reconnecting with it. It's easy to forget that because we spent so much time wanting to improve and get better and comparing ourselves to whatever idea of success we have and other people. And so but that's the main driver. Like the first time I made an audience or a group laugh, I wasn't like, oh, I did it better than the person who got a previous laugh. It was, oh my God, I love this thrill and connection. And that was fun. I think of that moment as fun. And it was in junior high. You know, I was in a drama class and they're like, all right, knock on this door and react in some way. So I dropped on my knees and I'm like, please open the door. And the whole class laughed because I committed so hard. And I thought, oh my God, this is awesome. The rest of junior high, freaking nightmare. But that moment was so fun. And that's stuck with me. And that was one of the things that made me want to do comedy. So that's the connection. Is the reason I still do this is because it's so fun.
And you got to remind yourself that.
Yeah, remind myself that.
Yeah.
Like don't get so worked up. You know, you don't want to come off stage and someone be like, wow, you look really worried up there the whole time. Like you weren't doing it right. That would suck.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, that's another interesting thing is a lot of times, like, I'll watch the footage of myself and I'm just like, oh, I don't look nervous.
Oh, yeah.
But that comes back to that, like, don't state it until afterwards. You can talk as much as you want about how nervous you were. But, like, before, I think it's really important to not talk about it.
Yeah.
And I've learned also because, like, my partner sometimes will give me suggestions. And, like, I remember one time I bombed really bad and I kept asking, and I was just saying it out loud because I was kind of asking myself, but I didn't really want an answer.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that that's what I didn't really want.
Yeah, right.
Until I got it.
Until
and then
you
I was
got
like, ooh, that's not helpful.
Yeah.
Like, because it was at our show at Bangers, we do a banter up top intro, which is pretty, like, you and I will maybe workshop a little bit of it, but it's pretty just like risk. I have no idea if it's going to work or not. And then me and Eliza, my co-host, we switch back and forth on who does a set. And it was my week to do also a set. And we kind of, well, we didn't bomb, but like my idea just didn't really land the way I wanted it to. It didn't bomb. It was engaging, and I think but it didn't land the way that I wanted it to. And I was just like standing back and I was like, what happened? What was wrong? And so my partner starts telling me all of like what hit, and I was just like, stop. You need to stop.
Yeah.
Because I'm about to go back up.
Yeah.
And I cannot.
No.
Like, whatever that is, I'm sure it's great and I appreciate it, but I cannot hear it.
No.
A minute before I'm about to go back on stage.
Yeah.
And do another set. I can't be like, that would be, I mean, it was just like, that was the worst timing, and I had to tell him that. And we had a conversation later about it, which was good. But it was like, I was like, it was supposed to be rhetorical, but
yeah, totally. What about this idea? What if you had just leaned into that going up and doing your set? What if you said,
like that was the whole, I love that.
I have a critique of the thing that didn't land earlier.
Yeah, that was
Y'all didn't like this. And that I wonder how that would have went, because it's so honest, and your mind is there right then,
and it's an experience that we all experienced together minutes earlier,
right? And you could do it without being really self-deprecating or brutalizing yourself. You could do it
right
where it's like, hey, so we didn't connect on that. Let's connect on how we didn't connect on that.
Connect on how we didn't connect.
Yeah,
I love that. That's the way your brain works on that, because that's a fun. That approach is just like a positive approach to a negative situation. It can, because you can look at it 2 different ways. And the fun thing about comedy, in my opinion, is it a lot of times is about the practice of staying positive and finding the funny in everything. Yeah. And for me, the reason I couldn't do it in that moment is because I was so bummed and being hard on myself. And it's like the creative and the critic. Of minds. Have you heard about this?
I mean, I don't know to what extent you're gonna dive into it, but I have
like two sides of your brain. It's like
Right.
There's the critique side and then there's the creative side.
And you want to turn off the critique while you're creating until later, which is hard to do.
It is.
Yeah.
And then, but then like so for me, sometimes I pendulum swing into the critique side.
Yeah.
And it just is a spiral of pure not fun and mood. It's not an enjoyable experience for me once I dip too far.
Yes.
And sometimes if I get too much feedback, I go there,
Yeah, because ultimately you want to improve. So you're very open to any suggestions and critiques, but there's a limited amount of mental energy we want to spend on that.
Because at a certain point, then I start to dip into the like wanting to quit.
Yeah. Oh my God. Like last night I did 2 mics and I felt like walking off stage. Yeah. I felt like going over the comics I knew and be like, I'm quitting comedy right now.
I'm gonna quit comedy right now. I mean, that's the beauty of, I guess, stand up or any of this is you like always want to quit. All right. So
yeah.
On the verge of quitting. All right. So here's the ones I got. I found them.
Good.
You said I pay attention more to the audience and see what they're reacting to make sure I connect with them.
I meant to write them. Yeah.
And pull the focus off of what I want to do and think about them.
Yeah.
There might be one person in this audience who really connects with my stuff. I think that helps.
Yeah, think about the pros. Yeah.
Oh, like almost, it's almost like with a product, for a successful business or product, you kind of want to visualize like who is the ideal customer. So it's like, who's the ideal customer for your jokes?
Yeah, like be very specific, and with the business analogy, be very specific on who your customer base is. You don't ever hear people say, all right, in business, think about everyone who's going to throw away your product immediately. Although that's probably a good exercise too, to think that might help me determine who is my audience. But but yeah, like the positives, don't focus on negative, like that person with their arms crossed who's giving you a scowl, who doesn't like anything about you.
Right. Maybe not that person.
Right. But there
Focus
could be
on
someone.
The positive.
And some, because I'll think, I like that better because it really is. This art form is spontaneous, in the moment, never to be recreated again. Conversation with the audience. So, if they're thinking about what they're reacting to and being a part of that is a great way to get out of your head as well.
Yeah.
I think.
I like that a lot. And then the last one that you had is, I would ask myself, is there something else I'd rather be doing right now? And if the answer is yes, then I go figure out, how to do it. Yeah.
Are we not cussing on this podcast?
I am making that choice right now.
Yeah. I like that.
I was like, you know what? You and I don't swear that much, so I feel like we can do it.
Clean,
so let's do it clean.
Yeah, and I got that from
because there was an S word in there.
Yeah, I got that. So that reeks a lot of that movie Comedian with Jerry Seinfeld and the person having an emotional mental breakdown in that film, Orny Adams.
Yeah.
Where Orny Adams is like, everyone I know is having kids. That's a horrible impression, so I'm going to stick with it. Everyone I know is having kids. And Jerry's like, well, do you want to have kids? I mean, if you want to have kids, go. But if there's something else you'd rather be doing, get out of here.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, that's right. It's supposed to be fun. And there's nothing I'd rather be doing.
Right.
Yeah. So remembering that.
So it's so interesting. I mean, that was when you sent that to me, it really hit a chord for me because I was just like, oh yeah, it's like, well, and I do tell myself that a lot. I'm like, well, you could quit, you could stop, you could bail. And I think about the times that I couldn't do a set. I'm not going to say bailed.
Yeah.
Because they were like weird. Like I got COVID one time.
Oh yeah,
like I got
incredible
sick.
Barriers too. Yeah.
Another time my dog had ate a chocolate bar and I was like monitoring him.
Yeah.
I was trying to get him to throw up and monitoring him. And then he ended up just being fine, but I didn't want to leave him, and it was a weird time in my life. It was not good timing.
That's a good instance of, there is something I'd rather be doing, and that's making sure my dog lives. Yeah, I mean that's a good. That's one moment.
Ask myself that, and I was like, yep, because I couldn't stop. Just I was like, well, if this is the last moments that I'm spending with my baby boy,
Oh my God, yeah.
I want to spend all of them.
Yeah.
Like that was. It sounds messed up, but I was like, because he wasn't throwing up and he ate a whole Cliff Bar.
Oh no! Oh my God!
Like, and I was like, ugh, like the chocolate one.
The chocolate, yeah.
Type that's like covered in chocolate is all chocolate.
My dog just ate chocolate, and Jerry's like, "Well, if you'd rather go see if your dog dies, get out of here."
Yeah, I'd rather spend those last moments of your dog's life with him than do it, and I did. But then afterwards, I also that instance, but like the one where I got sick. There was another instance where my dog had a bad reaction to a vaccine. And I didn't do it. Wasn't my show. It was another person's show. And
Yeah.
it was just like in that moment.
Oh, that's rough. Yeah, yeah.
I was like, I probably shouldn't do the show. So I did back out of that show and to monitor the dog for the night.
Yeah.
But I felt super guilty about it. And I guess what that made me realize is, no, I'd rather be doing the show. Like, and I have to think about that moment and like kind of go back to that moment.
Yeah.
And then that usually would get me to do it. Because like today, I had to go through, I had to do all this today. Because I was on the local news.
Oh yeah.
And I was so nervous. I was like super nervous. I didn't want to talk about it. I did the thing. I don't talk about how nervous you are. I kept that out of my mouth. And it's helpful. It's so helpful. Because if you, and because me and Eliza did it. And like, if we had sat there and like, while we were in like the waiting room and talked about how nervous we were, I would get more nervous.
Yeah.
But we talked about only how excited we were for it.
Oh, good. I like that.
And
turn
then
it around.
Other things, like just other stuff.
Yeah.
And I got into a fun, silly headspace.
Yeah.
Versus, I think if we had talked about how nervous we were, I would have gotten into a fearful. And it's that fight or flight thing.
Yeah.
So I got into a fight state as opposed to flight state.
Yeah.
Right.
Because the fighting was, you fought against the negative.
Fighting would be like, I'm a mess up this bear. Like, I'm gonna mess up this cougar. Like, it's that. That is what our nerves are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it's that because it's all like when we, it all comes back to like when we're Neanderthals or whatever, because we're animals at the end of the day.
Right.
And the fight or flight response is to keep us safe from danger. But we don't have danger anymore. So we get afraid of stages of public speaking. Instead.
We're so taken care of. Yeah.
Our saber-toothed tiger response is now a microphone and a small audience of people.
Yeah.
Or a like 10-second spot on a local news station.
Yeah. And some stages are raised by a foot, and I have jammed my shin at full speed right in the lip of the stage, jumping up to get on it, and I was bleeding. So,
but then
it's still dangerous. Everybody.
It is physically dangerous. But then there's or you could bail. You could bail.
Yeah.
I could have bailed, and I kept having to tell myself that. Like this morning, I was just like, "Well, you could bail," and I was like, "No, I'm gonna do it." Like, it was a weird thing. It was just like, but I was so nervous.
Yeah, and I like what I've heard, this updated version of fight, flight, or freeze. All those are options. Like the freeze could have been, you're gonna turn your personality down to 0 and just grin and be silent during the whole interview, which is not an ideal.
Does that sound like something I would do?
No, I'm just saying, like, I feel like the accuracy is more on point with the 3 options. When you're confronted with nerves, there are 3 options. Yeah.
Play dead. Ooh, okay.
Yeah, but so the fight thing was to go through it and conquer it. Yeah.
It's to kill the saber-toothed tiger.
Yeah.
It's to face it head on and just go for it.
Is there a 4th option that we could create? Not with the saber-toothed tiger, unless you're a animal whisperer, but
you could play dead.
What could you be friends with it?
Yeah. Oh, you could
befriend it.
Ooh.
You could befriend. And we've heard that nerves the butterflies can turn into energy and power to do the thing you want to do well.
Mm-hmm.
So could you befriend what would that look like? Befriending the saber-toothed tiger, which is a news spot about a comedy show, or opening a comedy show, what is the befriending the nerves? To me, it's like addressing it and
just doing it anyways,
heightening it. Yeah, like
I think it's almost like that would be almost like the thing you were saying, where it's just like you could tell yourself the whole time running into it that you were just gonna not say any. You know what? I'll just say nothing. I'll just stand there, and then you get there, and then you actually say something.
Yeah,
when you're in the moment,
right?
But you don't, because it all comes down to that, like, fear. What is it? Anxiety is fear of the future.
Depression's fear of the past,
fear
or
of the past, or
something about the past. Yeah.
Something about the past. It's not fear of the past. It's like sad you didn't do more.
Yeah.
Before.
I'll regret. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, so the thinking about, I think the befriending and the befriending / fighting response is the ideal one, and that could just mean there's one person in the audience that's really going to get a kick out of the stuff I get a kick out of, and whether or not you make eyes with that person, just thinking that they're in there is probably the best way. Like maybe the saber-tooth really wants to eat your face, but what the saber-tooth tiger likes more is some deer stomach. You're like, oh, let's go attack some deer stomach.
Let's go do this together. Oh yeah, you want to like bond with it.
Yeah,
I like
or like
that.
hold hands and skip while it.
While
you
tearing
approach.
up a deer. I love it.
Yeah,
Like,
let's hold hands and rip.
Let's hold hands, hold claws, if you will.
Yeah.
And oh my god! All right, so I have to before we get out of here, I gotta
say Jocelyn's.
So I gotta say Jocelyn's.
Say it.
So. It was discomfort is growth, and I love growth. Yeah. So like that's
awesome.
So just becoming okay with discomfort.
Yes. Yeah, and the reps and the instances, every time we have the nerves and the discomfort, it's a gift. Because I was thinking, like, you know how when you see people's specials, there's sometimes shot of them in the green room beforehand.
Just being so cool.
So cool, yeah. And I
want to see a real green room. Everyone is just nervously walking around.
Yeah.
Why are there even chairs in here?
Yeah,
there's just be treadmills.
Oh my god, that'd be brilliant.
Elliptical in there.
Let's solve the energy crisis by just putting a treadmill into comedians' green rooms before their special.
There's just someone in there. There's just always like one or two. Like I remember I was in a green room for a comedy festival, and it was like this weird triangle shaped one, and there was like 10 people on the show, and so there was like 8 of us in the green room, all trying to like wear a path somewhere.
Yeah.
None of us could, so we were kind of like awkwardly bumping into each other.
That's funny.
Someone got mad at me for having conversation with them because they were trying to, I don't know, work on their set or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I was like, the weather though.
Oh my god, yeah.
I got real small talky.
Hell yeah, I love that. I'd rather someone get small talky than just be like just be flexing or something.
Yeah.
Not that, I mean, yeah, there's some conflicting vibes with if multiple performers are in the green room. But I was thinking of what would it be like for me if I did a theater, had it taped, and I was in the green room right before. Like, I've thought about that, how like I want people close to me who build me up near me, but I also am not going to be my comfortable self. Like if someone's like, so I was thinking instead of going to this restaurant tomorrow, like we planned, we should tell the group that we want to go to this one. Like, I don't want to think about changing which restaurant we're going to eat at tomorrow. I don't want to talk about anything about our real life, big or small.
Okay.
I just want it to be silent and just to focus. Like, I think the meditative kind of state would work best for me, like 30 to 15 minutes before I walk out there. But I've thought about that. It's like, should I just say no friends and family can be back here for 30 minutes before showtime, because I'm going to flip out if you start talking about anything,
I love this. Oh, we're getting into a whole different thing. So I'm going to stop there. But yeah, I really liked that whole thing that
discomfort means growth.
Like find the discomfort and just like learn to befriend, to use your term, the discomfort.
Yeah.
That you're in. Did you have any other final thoughts before we get out of here about our topic, which was
when you don't want to go on stage, when
you don't feel like it, and that's feel with some quotes on it, some air quotes.
Yeah, but I'd say, just to recap, it's get physical, not mental. That spoke to some of yours. And then the positive possibility of there being someone you can connect with. And also that long game thing of the growth, discomfort, growth. Like the more we practice doing the discomfort thing, the better we're going to be. And I will be able to make a reservation at a restaurant minutes before I go on stage at a theater show, and it won't even be a thing. I just feel like I'm so chill.
Well, yeah, because I think what it is it's our subconscious trying to stay the same. It's like we're trying. It's like our resistance is our resistance to doing the thing that we want to do is the resistance to changing who we are. So that growth is important, and this for me tends to happen right before a big growth point, like where there's a big shift in whatever is happening for me. It's rarely like I do, I don't know, a bunch of stuff and then it's like, whoa, I'm like better. It's like, no, there's a bunch where I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. I quit. I want to leave. And then it's like, oh no, actually this is pretty fun. I like doing this.
Yeah.
You know, like there's like this moment afterwards. The other thing is I sometimes tell myself, okay, you can take a break after this, but just do the show. After the show, you can take a break.
Oh, I like that, postponing that.
And just like kind of being like, all right, you got your break after the show.
Yeah.
Like after you do this thing. Like today I was like, I got a couple hours before I got a podcast with Todd after that.
Yeah.
And then do a show after that.
Yeah.
Today's a pretty packed day for me. A lot of media. But I'm, I like as we sat down in the studio, I was just like, you know what? I love this. This is exactly what I want to do. If nobody listens to this, great. If 5 people listen to this, great. If 1,000.
Yeah, that's
awesome.
Yeah. Any of those is fine. But what I'm really pumped about is you and I both have more concise game plan when we find ourselves not wanting to go on stage. We have things to try.
I literally had to look at my own notes today, this morning. I was like reading through them, and I did the cold shower and the meditation.
Nice.
And the move around. Oh, and I took the dogs for a walk too.
Yeah.
So I got up stupid early because I had to be there early, and so I had to get up even earlier to do. I was like, I'm gonna need to do like 10 things to prepare. It's so silly.
Yeah.
Just I said like 8 words. like that's it.
You said 8 words.
No, I said more than that.
Oh, in the news
in the news
segment. Oh yeah.
The news segment. Yeah, they had some fun questions, but some questions I was like not anticipating, and we really had to be like, oh, okay.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
And then I also was like trying to shoehorn in some ideas and some things that I had thought of before.
Oh, solid. Yeah, that's good. You got
good.
your 3 points that you came in there with across.
Yeah,
nice
I got them in there.
Nice.
So, all right. Thank you for listening. This has been the first episode of the Dueling Beardos podcast, where we just answer a question about stand-up comedy and kind of chop it up and just have fun.
We answer our own questions.
We answer our own questions that we ask one another, and I love it. I'm excited to see what this becomes. But if you liked this, go ahead and give us a subscribe. We're going to be on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. I think that's all I'm going to do.
All right. Yeah.
All right. Thanks,
Not Jazzle.
Jazzle.
Just.
I don't know.
I'm sure that's another one.
Stitcher Radio. I think we'll be on that too.
Stitcher.
All right. Bye.
All right, you guys.
We did it. Thanks, all.
We did it. Thank you.
I tell you people, I'm on a different level. I heard 'em.
Adios, muchachos.